So this is my most recent addition to my travel bullet journals. This one is for planning. And you can see I've gone with an airplane theme. I found it by chance at the local Tesco. I could have gone to the stationery store, walked about 10 minutes, and picked up another one that matched the Colors of the World theme from the other two bullet journals. But I decided to be lazy, see what I could find around the shop that I was already at. And I did find some more grid paper. It is a little thinner than the other one in terms of, you can probably hear it maybe. But anyway, yes, I did find this one, and I decided I really liked the idea of using the planes, since of course it's related to travel. So far, I've only got one trip written in here, since I did buy it just recently. I actually used a bunch of paper first. I was looking around for scrap paper in my apartment and realized I had very little of it. And I didn't want to write my plans in my other travel journals because those are used for something very specific. The general one is used to list, of course, all the places in a country I want to go, and the specific bullet journal is being used for planning the things in each location. So if I go to this town, what can I do in this town? And you can see more of those in the other two videos. But so this one, it took a lot of paper. I kept scratching things out and my plans kept changing, so I had to rewrite it. I ended up using the whiteboard, about 4 or 5 pieces of paper, plus some Excel spreadsheets. So this, what you see in here, is my final copy. I have used a lot of sticky notes to blot out the information that could be private, such as dates and my lodging information, as I haven't gone on the trip yet. But anyway, let's get started. So here's the page for the location or locations I'm planning to visit. Of course, again, I've blocked out the dates. I'm not the best of artists, and I'm not the most creative necessarily, so these ideas have come from the internet and have been somewhat poorly executed. But let's go ahead and take a look at it. You can see I've already messed up the banner because I started to add other places. So this is my main location where I'll be visiting, but there are some towns nearby that I thought if I had time that I might visit. I'm not sure that's going to end up happening, but we'll see. I've got how to get there written on the corners, and I've just written from the capital city how to get there, and from the nearby towns how much it's going to cost, how long it'll take, maybe what time a bus or a train will leave to get there. Down here with my little buddy, I have things to see in the various locations, how much it might cost if there's an entrance fee. For example, the Castle Museum, I believe, is about $700 for it. Down here I've got things to do, so not tour a museum, but you can see I've got trails, festivals, visiting parks, walking rivers, visiting public baths. Up at the top here we've got some lodging options. So I did just a quick Google search, wrote down some names of places. A couple of these were recommended to me as well. And then I did a more thorough search. I looked on Airbnb, Booking.com, and so on to make my final lodging plans. And so none of these lists are very comprehensive. They're just for the general idea for myself. On to my beautiful 100% perfectly drawn circle of what to eat and where to eat it, rather. So I found about 5 places there. These were recommended to me here. My little shopping bag. It's small in part because I'm almost at the bottom of the page, but also because I didn't plan to do any shopping outside of this town. But I did see a number of places I thought I would check out while I was there, so I wrote those. And as you saw, here is my estimated costs without souvenirs. I haven't actually written anything on here because I did that on another page later on. I'm going to skip the next page because it was my plans, and you can see at the bottom they got messed up, so I marked them out. Alright, all my sticky notes stayed in place. Wonderful. So I did this page first, actually. This was the travel plans in terms of buses and trains and things like that, and what time I needed to be where. I'm extremely paranoid about missing trains and missing buses, especially as this trip will involve me switching trains multiple times on my trip, with sometimes only 6 or 7 minutes to get to the next platform. So I wrote it all down to be doubly, triply, quadruply sure. You might think I'd have it memorized by now, but I wrote so many times and numbers down that I have no idea anymore. But over here, I did just a little calendar format. I wrote the day that I'm going. I wrote each step, so I have to take a bus, a train, a bus. I wrote down my time options if I had a couple of options, how much it cost per leg of the trip. This will be my train and all my transfer stops, and how much it might cost my next bus, and so on. My check-in time, so I remembered just in case my plans changed or something, and I needed to remember when my check-in times were. Then I've got my dates for the next leg of my trip. That's pretty much just the days I'm going to be there, because I didn't need to write anything for that yet. That's on the other page. So I just put the dates I was going to be there, some travel information for the one day in particular. I really did want to be traveling somewhere close by, just in case I don't have internet, because where I'm staying doesn't have Wi-Fi. I don't know if it has anything else that I can check by. But then I did my last calendar dates hidden under here, and I did my return journey. So I reversed everything, double checked. And then at the bottom here, I did my budget. This is just an estimation. I overestimate a lot usually, so that way I'm safe. I do have options for like an ATM and so on, so I'm not terribly out of luck if I run out of my cash. But I do, of course, need cash for the buses, and it's a small town, so I might need cash there instead of a credit card. And so I've done my minimum estimations, my maximum, some emergency, and my totals. And if I have any left over, I can pretend that I saved a lot and then maybe spend it on food or other souvenirs that I want. Okay, and on to this. This is where I wrote down more of the specific information. So I've got hidden under here my lodging address, the times and days I need to be checked in and checked out, and my reservation code. And then I went on to a daily plan. I'm there for about 4 days because I have to have about a day to go up and a day to come back. So then I've got 4 days to spend in this location, and you can see I've put my day here, and just some general plan ideas. These could change. It's nothing set in stone. And down here, again, just in case I have no internet, and I might rewrite this to make it look prettier. But I've done the bus times for where I'm staying to the town I want to visit, and from the town I want to visit back to where I'm staying. And so that gives me options, lets me know at a glance where I can go and when. And that's all I have in here so far. Hopefully, I'll get to fill this up a little bit more. I don't know how often I'll use it. I don't want to use it as all of my scrap paper, even though that was partly the reason I bought it. I do like this more finalized version. I don't want to have 10 pages torn out and crossed out just to get to my next organized event pages. But we'll see how it gets used. I don't know, like I said, when I'll be able to use it again. But I do have it, and that's what matters.